In this video, we're going to be doing a stretching sequence that I usually use to cool down after practice, after class, after anything that involves physical activity. It's always great to stretch. So you just need to have a mat for this, and let's get started. So I'm going to start by bringing my right leg to 90 degrees. If you're mirroring me, this might be your left leg. And my other leg is back and straight. And just hold it here, stretching out my hip flexor. Now I'm going to bring my back leg down. And if you can, try to grab it with the opposite hand. So stretching out your back quad. This whole sequence is going to get us into the splits. I usually like to do it at the beginning of my stretching sequence when I'm still really warm. It's very important to only stretch when you are warm. So even if you didn't practice, you can just walk around for 5 minutes, anything, jumping jacks, running in place, whatever, just to make sure your muscles are warm. You don't want to stretch when you're cold. So release the back leg, and now we're going to flex our front foot here. Straight back. Make sure you're not rounding here. You want to have a straight spine. And you can think about pushing your hips back to really get a stretch in your hamstring and the back of the leg muscles here. Now from there, I'm going to point my foot and I'm going to slowly slide down just as far as you can go. Yeah, so if you can only go here, stay there and just stretch. And after doing this a lot, eventually you can make it down into the full splits. If you have yoga blocks, those are also great to use when you're still up higher, so you have something to press your hands on. And so this is going to be stretching now. Everything, the hip flexor, the quad, and the hamstring here. And just breathe. Always important to breathe when you're stretching to help relax. Try to breathe into the area that's tense. That can also help. And shake out that leg, and let's come into the other side. So I'm going to switch to my left side. So again, leg is at 90 degrees, making sure my knee is over my ankle and not in front. That's very dangerous. So make sure the knee is directly over the ankle. And just stretching the hip flexor. You should feel a nice stretch here. Great. And bring your back leg down. And again, if you can, grab it with the other hand. Try to push your foot into your hand to really feel that resistance in your quad. If you can't do this, and if you haven't been doing this stretch, probably you won't be able to at first, you can just stay in this stretch here, or you can try to bring your foot to wherever you can. And eventually you will bring it up into that hand. Great, let's release and come back. Again, flexing your front foot here so that we feel a nice stretch in the back of the leg. And remembering to keep our back straight. Breathing, also important. Point that foot, and again, just sliding down just as far as you can go. So you really don't want to push this too much. You just want to go to that point where your body kind of knows, okay, right here. And then just stay there and relax and breathe into it. That's really going to help you relax. So one of the things that will really help you become more flexible with stretching is that relaxation. Because when we can't stretch very far, it's because the muscles are saying, oh no, I can't do that, and they tense up, right? Because they don't want to break your, I don't know, ligaments or something, whatever it is. But actually, a lot of times we can go farther than what our muscles think we can, and we just need to kind of relax and get them into that state. And over time, it does become a lot easier if you are consistent about your stretching. So for the splits, if you want to get your splits, you need to be staying there at least 30 seconds. I would say a minute is probably better. It's important to stay there, not just do like a 5-second stretch. That's not going to help very much. Okay, so again, shaking out that leg. And let's come to a straddle position. Arms out to the side. Let's just lean side to side with the upper body. And then we're going to stretch over one side. And here I want both sides of my body to feel long. So not just the top side, but also the bottom side. I want to be stretching both of them. Knees facing the ceiling. And then I'm going to turn my chest up towards the ceiling. So now I'm really feeling the stretch along the side of my body here. And I'm going to turn back to the side, but I want to try to keep that open feeling along the side of my body. And breathing. Good, and coming back up again, sliding the upper body. Let's go over to the other side. Again, trying to lengthen on both sides of the body, relaxing the head, long arms, and breathing. And again, open the chest to the ceiling. Feel that stretch and keep that openness as you come back to the side. Great, from there I'm going to grab my ankle with the opposite wrist. The other hand comes behind my back and I'm just going to twist. And this is a super intense stretch for your shoulder and upper arm. I always have super tight muscles there. This stretch is amazing for that. So you should really be feeling it right around here. And pushing into that ankle, feeling that resistance will also really help. A lot of times in stretching, if you activate the muscle and then relax it, that can help you stretch a little further. Let's do the other side. So again, grabbing the ankle and really pushing, breathing. Just cooling down. Good, and now let's come to the center. Keep your knees facing the ceiling, and you're just gonna fold forward without rounding your back. You just wanna try to pull the crown of your head as far forward as you can while pushing your hips to the back. And so this is a great stretch for your inner thighs. And relax. And now you're going to turn your knees to face the front. So this is similar, but it's a slightly different set of muscles you're stretching. Again, this is opening up. This is sort of a great stretch for your middle splits, which are super hard. And relaxing that upper body. Good. And coming up. Okay, now we're going to come to the pigeon, which is going to open up our hips. So what I want you to do, come to one side, and if you can, if this is not painful for your knee, you do not want to have any knee pain while doing this. You want to try to have the lower part of your leg parallel with the edge of your mat. So not here, but as close to parallel as you can, and then you're going to come down. My mat. You're going to come down and you'll be stretching that hip flexor. And you can just fold forward. So just relaxing down here, trying to breathe into the tight areas. You might need to maneuver around a little bit to find kind of that area where you feel tension. and then just stretch into it. So a lot of us have tight hips. I know I always have really tight hips, so this stretch is fantastic for that. And let's do the other side. So again, trying to have the bottom of the leg parallel, or as close as you can to parallel with the edge of the mat, and then just folding over. And another thing that really helps increase flexibility is visualizations. So I already talked about kind of breathing into a tight area, imagining the breath coming in there. That's a great one. Another one that I really like is to imagine that the tension is like a sugar cube, and then just imagine that sugar cube dissolving in a cup of warm tea. And that's a really nice image that can help you decrease tension and become more flexible. Okay, so when you've done that one, you're going to come to your toes, and you're just going to press the toes into the mat. And the first few times you do this stretch, it will probably be extremely painful, but it is such a fantastic stretch. If you are pointing your toes a lot, as we do in dance, this stretch is really important to stretch out those toes in the other way. And it just releases a lot of tension as well. Tension that we don't even know is there in our feet. Okay, then slowly bring the heels down. So now we're stretching our Achilles tendon. And this can also be tight if you're doing a lot of releve, so on your toes a lot. If you wear high heels, you can probably have tight Achilles. So the stretch is also really important, trying to push those heels down. Great, and let's slowly start to straighten the legs and roll up. And the last stretch we're going to do is for our calves. So I'm going to push one leg back, straightening the back leg, front leg is bent, and just really trying to push back with my back heel so that I feel a really nice stretch in my calf. And if you're doing a lot of releve, you will probably have tight calves. So the stretch is great. Let's switch, let's do the other side. Again, pushing back, pushing into the calf. Again, that feeling of kind of activating the muscle and then releasing to help increase our stretch. Great, and let's just come to the center, take a nice deep breath in, and release. Breathe out, relax your head, bend your knees, roll up, and you are done. So this is a great thing to do after a warm-up. I usually stretch anytime I practice. I stretch after the practice, after class. It's really important. That's also the best time to stretch, when you're really warm. And if you want to build your flexibility, it's important to be consistent with your stretching. And you don't have to hold it for like 5 minutes, but say 30 seconds, you know, every day, every other day, and it just feels really good. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, feel free to subscribe to my channel to get more videos. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.